really huge vulnerability for all of us.
Right.
I've
Okay.
got looks like Jim Manico and Jeremiah Grossman involved through my connections there. So, it's grassroots. It's just a lot of sharing and exploring and meeting people.
Yeah, and one of the other things is that you had some. You talked about the other aspects of the event, such as having training. I noticed that you had about 5 different tracks at the recent event. You had the security management track, the technical AppSec, digital forensics track, as well as emerging issues in technology. What kind of led you to those particular tracks, and how do you think they'll change next year for the next event?
We haven't resolved yet what the exact schedule will be for next year, but we listen to feedback from our members, our community, and we keep an eye on what's going on in the world and what seems to be of greatest need and the biggest discussion areas, and then we build those tracks based on that. Clearly missing last year from an actual track was something with cloud, but again, that's evolved enough that I don't think it was a big discussion area. There were cloud talks, right? But the point being that we want to, create tracks dealing with stuff. We did have a couple of talks on IoT as well, and I don't know if that will be a track, but that's certainly emerging as one of the big speaking points right now. So I couldn't give you a heads up, but I do know that we will, again, have the Healthcare Privacy and Security Forum, because that just seems to be growing each year, and that's going to be a whole separate track, basically, where people from the healthcare industry get together and try to figure out, how we're going to combat what's going on out there today. And we will have the Executive Forum, again, as I mentioned, and well, we will also have our famous opening reception as well.
Okay, great. Also, excellent list of vendors. You had some pretty nice vendor list, and you also have space for media sponsorship and so forth. Would you like to kind of talk about the vendor experience, so to speak, and how you go about selecting the vendors and for the event?
Yeah, our vendors have been wonderful partners. They look at our event as something that can really help drive their business and get their name recognized and out there. We had we had TV and radio stations show up at the summit, and that was good for the speakers, but also good for the vendors.
Yeah.
And we have a variety of different levels that they can participate in. Those who want to get a speaking slot at the highest level, the diamond level. They've got to talk to their marketing folks and see if their strategy aligns with that, as does their financials. But we also have got things like sponsor the lunch or help sponsor the opening reception, which will usually create a lot of fun for the sponsors. Wireless sponsor. So a variety of different things. Some of them common with many other organizational summits, but some things we try to get a little creative on. Yeah. So, like we have parking sponsor, and the way to get your validation is to show up at the booth of the vendor, as an example. But with the media, it's really important because the media can be our best friend, because ahead of the conference, so they can start blogging, sharing information about the summit to get the word out to the community.
Right.
Well, we all know it's huge. It's a great megalopolis spread out to one of the largest areas of any city in the world. But we're getting good attendance at the summit. We had almost 800 last year.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
But it's LA, so we should be able to double that.
Yeah.
Problem is getting the word out. We're IT and security professionals, so we're trying to look for marketing support, and we have an outreach to various communities to try to get some help, just to get the word out, because I think it'll sell itself, but I think there are several InfoSec and IT professionals who don't know about it, and if
Right.
they did, they saw the lineup of speakers and keynotes, they would probably really want to show up.
Yeah. And definitely the marketing as stated with the bloggers and the different media outlets to help break out the word definitely help. I know that was one of the key things that Black Hat did at one time to help spread the word, and I think it had worked very well for them. So the model that you're using is definitely a successful one that others have used in the past. So after the event was over, what did you hope that many of the attendees took with them when they left the event?
Well, we just want everyone to feel that, hey, this is a great place to go where they can learn a lot, and also they can share their ideas and share their experiences at work and share their successes. There's some templates that I was able to grab that I used at work to help save me hours and possibly days of time of trying to create. You don't want to build something from scratch ever. You always want to take what people have done and build upon it. And you can scour the internet and come up with things that you think are good. But if you're at a conference and you're speaking to someone you know, and they say that something worked really well for them, and you've got that first-hand interaction, or you see a speaker and you can ascertain for yourself the validity of what they're putting forth. I think it's important to get that personal experience as opposed to just sitting behind a computer and scouring the internet.
Yeah, and there was one other event that I forgot to ask you about. It was called the Challenge Room. Could you kind of give me some information on what the Challenge Room was all about?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Thank you. It's basically a capture the flag event where there's a competition among teams that try to break into the security of a virtually created organization that's been defended by the other team. Okay. And those have been occurring at some different venues and events, and we thought that would be a really fun thing to do, and it really was well received. In addition to the CTF, they've got other challenges like lockpicking, a variety of other things where people don't need to bring computers and just go and try to solve, all related to security. So it's just like a fun thing, and it goes on throughout the day so people can pick and choose the tracks they want to attend. And if they want to skip one session at one time and instead go into that room and try their luck and test their intelligence and creativity, it's just a fun place for people to go in and interact.
Yes. And you're listening to the SecurityOrb Show. Again, my name is Caleb Charles, and I am on the line with Richard Greenberg. He is the current president of the Information Systems Security Association, the Los Angeles chapter. And we're just talking about the Security Summit, the organization, and some of the events that are associated with the organization. So, Richard, as we're approaching the next event for next year, what are some of the things that you're looking for from the InfoSec community or just from internally as you prepare for this next conference? You already stated that you were going back to a previous venue from many of the comments. Or what are some of the other things that you're looking for?
Well, right now we feel that we've got to look at what's going on out there in the business world and the hacker space. Phishing attacks seem to be the number one concern currently on our industry, and getting the word out is really key for most of us. It's difficult at times because the hacker community can often circumvent our best defenses and our best monitoring. If users click on that link, open up that attachment, there's that back door that we all fear. So we've got to improve our recognition of when something's gone strange or awry on our networks. We can't stop the attacks, but we've got to improve our time of discovery and our ability to respond. Our incident response teams have to be well practiced, and we've got to go after that and shut down before too much information can escape from outside of our companies and organizations. So talks related to phishing and it would be really helpful, and some other talks about how to improve incident response. I think that's something that we would be looking for. The other thing, we see a trend Think about the big hacks that have been going on lately. Anthem comes to mind, right?
Yes.
And then following that was Care First Blue Shield. Well, what do those two have in mind, in common?
Mm-hmm.
Both phishing attacks, but both also the healthcare organization. And healthcare seems to now be one of the biggest targets out there. And you might ask why, right? Tell us. I'll answer you.
Why?
Well, they're warehouses, and they're just filled with data, right? So they've got all the information that they need to see patients. You got to give your doctor your social security number so he can go after you if you're not paying him. Your medical information, insurance, and all kinds of other personal information, including your family member information. And don't forget your financial information, right?
Right.
So where else are you going to get such a huge bevy of information by one person? So healthcare is now a target. And the other thing is healthcare has traditionally been behind other organizations, particularly finance, right, in securing themselves because they never felt they were a target.
Yeah, and I was about to mention that, and you hit it right on the head on that comment.
Yeah, and with the drop in the cost in the black market of credit cards, and most of them out there really anyway, medical ID and personal information really has a high price point in the black market. And so that's the other thing driving the attacks on healthcare.
Yeah, and that's a very good a very good statement right there, and that should definitely, hopefully wake some people up and being able to submit more information on the healthcare because personal information is the new currency, and it's, as you stated, with healthcare being, I guess, behind and as compared to most industries, many of these malicious individuals are seeing that as an easier target to try to get that kind of information. So that would definitely be a nice little track to sit in, if you do have that. So I would definitely appreciate that. But I could honestly say that SecurityOrb has, been a sponsor and helper in spreading the word for the past 5 years, and we hope to continue doing it for as long as the event goes on. Love hearing about the press release, love hearing about, the different information and things as it leads up to the event. And hopefully we hope to jump in on the next event. Hopefully we could try to make it out there for the 2016 event.
Yeah, you're all welcome, and we really appreciate the support you've given us over the years. We like our partners, and we would be in a different place without folks like you. So thanks for that.
Yeah. So before we end our interview, I would like you to take a moment to kind of give some contact information, such as where people could go to see the website, information about the conference, if they want to contact you about submitting a paper, becoming a vendor. What's the best way to contact you?
Well, we have meetings every month, and we've got 5 dinner meetings, and some of them we team up with other organizations like OWASP or ISSA-LA. I'm a great believer in collaboration, and those events draw almost 100 people on a regular basis. And then our lunch meetings we've been having in the same restaurant for, my goodness, 20 years. It's really, really fun. 90 folks show up Wednesday, which was a nice turnout. We had PwC demonstrate some sophisticated phishing attacks. I don't know if I would say sophisticated. That's the other thing. Let me just take a side. Most of the attacks that we're seeing are not sophisticated, which means they can be defended in a great many of the cases. So that's a shame that people are not doing a lot of the basic stuff that they should be doing. But getting back to ISSA chapter in LA, we have these meetings, and that's a great place. We invite anyone who's interested in seeing more about us to come join us. Our contact is ISSA-LA.org, and on there's tabs that you can go to find out about sponsoring, about speaking, where our events take place, and how you can become part of the community. We're always looking for volunteers, too. As I said, we have a couple of spots open for our election for board members, but we have a large group of volunteers that help. The summit, it's a huge undertaking, and without our volunteers, it just couldn't happen. We have a limited budget. It's not like we can start paying a bunch of people full time.